Hello and welcome back. I am Almrak. This is my sixth and final game from the Platinum 2 group in the sixth season of the Intermezzo Championship. It's a little hard for me to believe that we're here on the last game, but here we are. Thank you for making it back for what I think is a really interesting and fun game. One interesting thing in this game is that we don't take a single leader because they're good for us or we're set up for that leader. Now, after the fifth game, we do have first place locked up in the group, but I, of course, don't know that when I'm playing the game, since the games in the group are played at the same time. So somewhere toward the end of the game, I do realize that Lear and Klaus is the only one that still has a chance to take it, but it doesn't affect things too much in this particular game. So I enjoyed this game. I hope you enjoy it too. Thank you again for watching. You are really what makes it worth it for me to do this. And now let's jump into the game. Blue takes urban growth. Yellow takes rich land and Stonehenge. And then what do we do? Let's see what's in the game. Alright, so Roman roads and Colosseum. So blue can get Colossus for 1 or Colosseum for 2. So if they get Colosseum for 2, then I guess we hope for Roman roads to be there, but we don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't know that. Although I can make it pretty likely if I take 2 cards. And for leaders, let's see, so blue, no one has a leader yet. Interesting. But maybe that. Hippocrates and Richland, so we're going to bring out 5 more cards. So there's like a reasonable chance. That another wonder comes out. But yeah, right, if you're blue, you build your lab, increase pop, take Colosseum. Essentially is your turn. So we would not get that or Colossus. And the alternative is we take Colosseum. So then what? Blue takes Hammurabi, I suppose. And Aristotle falls off. Yellow takes Hippocrates. And then we're just looking at whatever other leader comes out. So it kind of comes down to, do we want to grab Colosseum? Or something? I guess we could get Colossus and Aristotle also. I think on this one, I'm just going to take Colosseum. I probably won't get any of these leaders. 2 are all pretty good. But maybe we'll get Alex or Ashoka. I mean, or even Moses, I suppose. I don't really want to leave Hammurabi and Colosseum up here for blue, but I don't really want Hammurabi myself. And Colossus would be fine in this situation. I just would rather play with Colosseum now, so we'll go with that. Blue elects Hammurabi. Builds a philosophy, increases population, takes Colossus. That seems pretty okay in this situation. Yellow builds a bronze, takes Hippocrates, elects him, and takes urban growth. So they're gonna roll the dice that maybe Hammurabi doesn't get an event to play, and then maybe they won't play one. Now, our turn, we have Colosseum, and we don't have a leader. Maybe we go for Go for Mike here, huh? So Bread and Circuses and Mike together would be pretty good here. I don't know if I want to try to get Boudica for 2. Do that. So we'd be able to finish this next turn. Not. That's good. I wonder if we'll have a corruption problem if we do that. What else would we do? I mean, I don't particularly want to leave these around either for anybody. I mean, we would increase population and then take one of these kind of crummy cards here. I mean, yeah, otherwise we're reaching out here, so there's really not a whole lot else we can do. We could take printing press, but that doesn't seem good. It seems good. I mean, it's nice because yellow doesn't have a population and blue probably doesn't have an event, so it works out pretty well here. The blue increases population, builds a bronze, takes stockpile and theocracy. And let's see, are we going to get it? Yellow takes knights for 2, increases pop twice. Okay, so we do get it if we want it. So we can take... We might be able to seed an event here. But what we want to do is... I might not finish this one, actually. Take Mike. And Bread and Circus. I guess we don't even have to elect him. Take Bread and Circuses. Yeah, it's a little tricky. Okay, now everyone has a population. So just do that like other folks did. Either do that or do that. I guess I want to keep a population around. Everyone's probably going to play an event this time. So I think we need to abort the mic plan here. I think it just sets us back too much and we don't want to do it. And so I think there are a couple of things I would consider doing here. I'd like to get this lab out at this point. We won't get the iron, but there's another one. And so now this is where the questions come in. So we can take swordsman and monarchy. This puts code of laws onto 1 for blue, which I don't really want to do. They could revolt and take it or something. It also sort of puts us a little further behind on civil elections here. So then we can take, we also wouldn't have a population, which we actually could use both events. If Development of Warfare came out, then others would get stronger, and they're already in with Knights and with Theocracy and Colossus, they're already sort of in a position to get stronger. So they got Warfare, it just is even more. We don't need religion too much because we have Colosseum, but we certainly would take it if it happened. So then if we do increase pop, we choose between Swordsman and Monarchy here. And I mean, Monarchy could be good. We can possibly revolt into it. If I do take Swordsman, then at least I have some way to get stronger on military. We don't know necessarily what's going to happen here. And no one would get Monarchy, so I'm not giving it up to somebody else. So leaving it is not too bad. You know, something we could consider is taking Bread and Circuses and Swordsman, but I think I just want to increase pop, take Swordsman here. We still have to finish this and hopefully get a code of laws. And now, yeah. So I think this is what I'm going to go with here. So blue reveals development of agriculture. Takes breakthrough. Stage of Colossus increases pop and does take Code of Laws for 2. Yellow builds of philosophy with urban growth, takes alchemy iron and increases pop. So they do not take that Code of Laws, which was for 2 there. Now it's our turn. And let's see, so one event has been played. Probably want to not play an event. We don't have a good Genghis Khan tactic. We're not really set up for Barbarossa either. I mean, really, none of these are particularly good here. Joan of Arc's fine, but with Colosseum, it's not as good. But really, nobody's that good. So blue definitely, well, blue can revolt and get Code of Laws out next turn. So we can stop that if we corrupt them, at least. I guess you could develop Code of Laws and then do something, right? Yeah, that's a good spot for blue. So there is another irrigation. Barbarossa is pretty early and we haven't built anything, so we could take advantage of him, I suppose. And we do have a military action, which helps. So what could we do? Oh, we can't. I guess we can elect him. Take Code of Laws and build a warrior. Develop Swordsman and build one of those. And then put an event in, maybe Vast Territory. And the question is, do we put Vast? Maybe we hold off on Vast until we see what things look like and we can put new deposits in for now. So there's some science. I don't really like Barbarossa here. It's just tough spot because I don't know when irrigation is going to come out. I get to use him once and then I can't really use him again. I guess I could use him twice. Other problem is then we give blue Joan of Arc with Theocracy. So it'll make them even stronger. Which is not great. So I'm tempted to take Joan of Arc here. I'm just not sure. It's 2 food and 2 resources, and maybe we get more resources later. So I'm not sure that makes Barbarossa worth it here. The blue reveals don't have crafts. Yep, breakthroughs, develops code of laws, finishes classes. That turn must feel pretty good. And then yellow reveals development of civil life. Okay, I have to check what happened there. They have medieval army now. Stonehenge took a rich land. That's a pretty good turn too. Let's see if we can have as good of a turn. So what did yellow do? Built a temple with civil life. Interesting. That's kind of a gamble when there's still an event left, right? So we have vast and inhabited territory here. So we'll probably hold one of those for a potential Suez Canal thing. Barbarians is not safe to play. Cartography is here. So maybe there's something we could do with that. Let's see what our turn looks like. We cannot develop swordsmen, that's sad. I guess we raise population. Elect Joan of Arc. We finish Colosseum. We could take monarchy and try to revolt soon. We could take iron. But we don't have a ton of science. We could take alchemy and get into it next turn. Put a territory in and take cartography for next turn. Yeah, I don't quite like any of the options here. I mean, we probably need to build a warrior just to get out of corruption. You know, you can go back to, I don't know, like you can try to do something. Like if you don't elect Joan, you can finish this. And then maybe take this reserves, which seems just as useful as anything else, really. Lets us keep our science around. It helps with one of these wonders when they come out. Helps us build a swordsman if we need it. And, I mean, what are we really missing here? We're not getting alchemy, which could be good. The elegy is questionable and cartography is questionable. Iron is good, but I'm not sure when we would get into it. You know, if instead you elect Joan and take iron, maybe if we get a science, we'd be able to play it. It all kind of comes back to if we knew what this event was, we could make a better decision. But I'm pretty nervous about putting an event in. I mean, it's going to be tricky to play around barbarians, especially if we develop swordsmen and get Colosseum culture for it. It's just going to be tricky. In these territories, I don't know that I'm going to get, especially in this, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get cartography out in time for it to make a difference, so I'm giving them to someone else. I don't really want to play a territory, but not knowing what the event is certainly tricky here. Yeah, I think I definitely want to elect Joan. I think I'll take alchemy. if I didn't have Joan, then theology would be an easy no here. If I didn't have a Colosseum, it'd be an easier yes. I'm going to get one more population out. I'm going to lose 2. So just a religion is fine. And if we do get the Great Wall, then we won't need that either. I mean, there are definitely reasons to get drama. So maybe we get into this drama instead for happiness. But it's like more science that we need to deal with. And so I really don't want to take any science here. It's just kind of, I kind of regret taking Joan here. I think Saladin would have been a better option for me. And Saladin's actually going to be pretty nice for blue. They're definitely going to take Saladin. But with Joan, drama's not, this doesn't really make as much sense. But since we already have Colosseum, you know, drama makes sense, and the leaders later are good for drama. I mean, a lot of them. Bach and Gaudi and Shakespeare, Marlena and Chaplin. There's a lot of reasons to get into that drama. There's no reasons to get into theology. Since we're holding these, there are reasons to get into cartography. So I guess we just do it this way and hope we can figure out a way to make this work later. All right, so let's end the turn and cross our fingers on events. Okay, I have a tactic. That's a plus. The blue reveals development of religion, so it does come out. And takes Saladin. Alexem takes swordsman. Builds one, I think. It takes breakthrough. 3 CAs. Yellow finishes Stonehenge. Develops iron. Upgrades one. And now it's our turn. So we're in the last spot. New deposits would be good. Kind of depends how much we want to slow down the deck here or not. Yeah, we don't want to put barbarians in. We could put a territory, potentially. With the cartography. I mean, it's going to take a while to come out, and... I do like Himeji Castle here. I mean, Great Wall would be good too, but with our actions, it's a little harder to finish it. And with Colosseum, you have knights or cannons, so it's not as good. We have alchemy, so maybe Universitas is a little less good. We're also in last spot a little weak, so Himeji Castle seems really nice here. We have the engineering genius plus new deposits. If we played an event, we could actually finish it this turn, but we'd still be at 5 strength, so we'd be the weakest. And we don't know what the next event is, so letting this event not come out is helpful in that way. And then this drama is here, but we got our religion plus Colosseum, so we don't really need this right now. It's also iron and reserves would be pretty nice. We could get iron and reserves and have corruption though. So we probably need to increase population to get out of corruption. I guess we could also upgrade the alchemy, but we're weakest. So if we do increase population, build 1 legion. So now we are not the weakest. And we can get alchemy next turn. Upgrade. We actually get cartography this turn and be stronger. And potentially blue put in territories because they had Colossus. Problem here is getting alchemy is going to be harder. So instead of playing one of these, we could take drama. Because there are a lot of reasons to have drama. Bach, Gaudi, Shakespeare, Chaplin, Dietrich. But it doesn't feel like the right time to take this. We have other things we need to fix, and just putting that in hand doesn't seem worth it. Yellow can build another warrior up to 6, likely. Blue can upgrade. Blue has lots of options here to get stronger again. Could just get a stage of Meiji Castle out so we can finish it next turn. Also this, what does this do? To get stronger later takes more military actions. So we could develop swordsman, build one. Now we're stronger. We could possibly slow everything down a little more. And then we can just finish Meiji Castle to get stronger again next turn. Blue, blue realistically might get 4 more strength or so. Get to 10. And we would get to 9. We could do 10, 11 if we wanted to. Really push it. Problem here, we can't get alchemy. So we would be grabbing some yellows instead. 2 on this, grab yellows. Can't really do anything else. I think there's very little chance that we'll actually still be stronger on our turn. So given that, I'm not sure how hard we have to work to be stronger here. It just slows us down quite a bit. So I sort of like the idea of just getting a stage out, or really even taking reserves. Seems pretty good. That seems fine. So 2 cards, the Raid and the Barbarians we can get rid of. Our hand is full, but that seems fine here. So blue reveals new deposits. Takes Universitas, plays stockpile, finishes Universitas, and that's our turn. Yellow reveals develop territory. I think we can bid on this, right? So yeah, it's too bad we didn't get cartography out last turn. That would be helpful. So if we bid and win, then... Because what we'd like to do is get alchemy out, upgrade or finish Meiji Castle. So if we lose 3 strength from this, it should be okay. And if we need to... we won't have it. Oh yeah, if we need to, we can just upgrade swordsman. So I think we can bid 3... Oh, the suspense. Come on. Don't disconnect me. Oh, we won. Whew, that's exciting. Okay, we'll put our stuff out. So we'd have kept those 2 cards if we had gotten cartography out. C'est la vie. Yellow. They do? I don't know. Built a knight, took rich land, irrigation, and I think built... Or no, it must have increased population. Must have been what it was. Green, well, the Agens. And they both had good things happen. Well, and a bad thing. I had nothing happen. And it is our turn now. So we just won that territory. And so let's deal with that situation. So Crusades is next. We probably don't want to put one of these territories in right now. What we want to do is finish the castle. And take coal, maybe? That's ambitious. If I don't take it, does blue take it? Maybe. Yellow has iron already, so it's not as big of a problem. I wonder if yellow is going to get Machu Picchu here. Seems likely. So we need to try to get stronger than 5, probably. So we're not strongest there. Also, here's this drama. Let's do this, and then maybe someone doesn't play an event. Maybe blue gets stronger and then still hits us, probably. Don't have a knight. Knight would be nice. That. Or we just do. And then we're not researching our alchemy this turn, but we got some science from the territory, so we're, I guess, okay putting it off a turn. I guess we can do cartography now. Let's see, we could. We can do that and then take a card. What would we take here? We can still get into alchemy next turn. Yellow has irrigation. So blue could take irrigation and coal, potentially. I don't know about irrigation though here. I mean, we're still getting food for a little while. So I don't really want this irrigation, I don't think. It's a bit late. We can hope for selective breeding. We're making food, just said. So I think I'm gonna do this. So we're strongest. We can get another warrior next time, or swordsman next time if we need to. We're in a pretty good spot to bid for territory if it comes out. We have the castle done, which is nice. And we'll just keep an eye out for coal, I guess, and selective breeding. That coal's probably going to get taken, so we won't get it. And yeah, so we're a little behind, I would say. But we'll get some science fixed up a little bit next turn, and then hopefully food and resources shortly after that. So yellow rejects the trade routes agreement, where blue tries to use their food as a resource. Blue takes coal for 3 in rich land, builds a warrior, takes irrigation and frugality. It's a handful of good cards, I would say. Yellow takes Gutenberg, Lexen, uses him to Discover what happened. We're gonna take a look. Oh yeah, develop alchemy, then upgrades and takes drama. Yep. We really wanted to get a drama because there's a lot of reasons to have drama here, but we never got one. So Crusades is in here. We want to give blue 4 culture. Could put a territory in. Let's see, are we going to get stronger? I guess we should probably get this selective breeding, huh? Man. We could do, I don't think we want to, but we could do this. Fix our happy faces for a long time. Yeah, I mean, getting this opera at some point, the strategy is going to go away. Oh, man. What do you think blue takes it? His hand's full, though. Yellow could get it as well. Guess I don't mind giving blue 4 culture here. Is there going to be a worse strength event later, though? Very potentially. We won't be weakest, though, so that's mostly fine. I don't think I'm going to play a territory yet. We have cartography, but don't have any cards, and hopefully one of them won't play an event, and we can get it into the next deck still. I'm going to put in Politics of Strength, though. It won't come out for a while. We'll know it's there, so it's a thing we can try to prepare for. And it's an extra culture, I guess. Alright. Now we want to, I mean, we can make a case for not getting into alchemy yet because it's pretty late, but we don't know how long we're going to have to wait, so we just have to get this out of the way. We need selective breeding. There's no ocean liner, so we need the food. We're going to need resources. So I think here I would decide, do I want urban growth and team sports to try to fix happiness later on? Or organized religion? I'm sorry, not organized religion, or the other urban growth. And I think I want the other urban growth. Resources are really tight. That one resource could make a difference here. It's a while before we need to deal with happiness. It's just not the issue we have right now. And so I think I'm going to go with that. Hopefully we draw some cards and we can put one of these two into the next deck, and then happiness becomes a little bit less of an issue. But we'll see how that goes. We need to get rid of one card. I don't think heavy cavalry is going to happen. If we get cavalry, then we can go into this tactic. We want to keep one of these to play and one for Suez Canal if it should happen. And I mean, War of Tech could happen. So I think it's that or any of those. I mean, I guess this is already out here, so we could always copy it. But it might be handy to play it and save an MA later, and I don't think we're going to get into that one. Oh, we got one. Nice. The blue reveals immigration. We all get one. That's nice. Develops coal with breakthrough, upgrades one, takes strategy and team sports. So yep. Yellow builds a warrior, upgrades an alchemy, takes constitutional monarchy, upgrades to an iron, and takes journalism. So we are weakest, and what is the event? Strategic territory. I mean, we wouldn't mind revealing that, and we still get to put the territory in that we wanted. Plus we drew a card. So, all in all, it's probably fine to put this event in. And politics of strength won't come out right away, but the territory we put in will. So we could actually not bid quite as high on strategic in order to bid higher later. And I think for this we want to put inhabited in, so we get vast with Suez if that happens. Now we bid for this. I think we just go to 4. And we keep this card for inhabited and hopefully draw another one. I mean, getting 3 cards right now is certainly helpful for tactics and primarily to get a tactic here. What can blue bid? 2, 3, 4? Plus 1's 5. So we would take 2 of their cards away. If they have them. I guess winning it also makes Suez Canal more attractive. If no one else has a territory and we have 2, well, no one else has one, they're not going to want to take it. So if blue wins strategic, then they may want to take it. If we can win strategic, then it comes out before inhabited does. Maybe they don't want to take it. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just nice to try to win it. Maybe we'll get more cards. Maybe we'll get something good. Maybe we won't. But let's just try this. Maybe it won't cost us much. Maybe we won't win. We'll see. And we win it for 6. Okay. Well, I mean, it's good we won. It's probably more than we ideally would have wanted to pay, but let's hope we draw some more colonization cards here. We don't. We did get 2 more territories, though. So that's interesting. Maybe something to think about for the Suez Canal later. So now let's do that turn. And for our turn, the original plan was to upgrade this, build the swordsman, play reserves, and take these 3 cards. So we can still do that. The issue now being we're not strongest anymore. I mean, I have mixed opinions on winning this territory here. I mean, the way around that, you have to increase population and build 2 warriors. Then you kind of have to decide what to do here. If you do this, you can get 2 of these cards, but you can't get the 3rd one. So we can play reserves, but we can't get the other reserves. You can maybe not upgrade alchemy and play reserves, but you can still only get 2 of them. And if we build 2 warriors, we're not getting a military card, so the 3 we got here are, you know, meaning we only get 2 here. So I think I'm okay doing the same plan as before. I mean, there is rats, which is kind of painful, but it's really not too bad for them because they can't increase population, whereas we can. So maybe we can increase population and not take this reserves. But I think we're gonna risk rats here and just do it this way. You know, if there's a rats, we can get the food back with reserves for a population if we need to. So I think that's okay. Let's end the turn and find 4 cards to get rid of here. And I think I'm going to get rid of these 3. They seem kind of far off for now, and that tactic medieval army's in there. So then we have, I think I might try this pact. I think it could be helpful. Vast might be good for Suez Canal. But at this point, developed is almost as good as vast anyway. But I think I'll get rid of wealthy territory. I mean, yeah, it could be close. Wealthy territory gives me resources. I mean, hopefully I'll have food with selective breeding, and if I need tokens, then developed will give me almost as many as vast. So maybe we get rid of vast here. It's close, but I think that's fine too. Give us some defense cards. Bring it, bring it, bring it. No, none. Well, we did get classic army though. That's nice. If we can get this cavalryman. Blue develops strategy. Takes a breakthrough, builds a philosophy, takes opera, and copies legion. Yellow reveals historic territory. Do we need historic territory? I really don't even want to win this territory. The problem is that my minimum bid of 4 is likely to win, I think. It just costs me 3 food when I don't have much. I may not get into selective breeding yet. I want to try to get stronger for politics of strength, and I want to save my person for inhabited territory. I'd much rather win this right now. And so I think that I'm just going to pass on this. Yeah, I'm just going to pass this one. Sort of crunched in the middle here, and happy faces are just not what I need at the moment. And blue wins it for 2, so they'll just send 1 warrior away. And blue sends away 1 warrior. That's pretty good. Yellow develops irrigation, upgrades twice, takes rifleman. And that's their turn. Bit of corruption, it looked like. Okay, let's skip politics for a sec. So 2 things I see here are the Suez Canal and cavalrymen. We actually can't get both, so we have to make a decision here on which one we want. Really need cavalrymen for classic army. But Suez Canal would be great for getting some production. I mean, we would get, at this point, 3 resource production after we put in 11. So we'd get it back after 4 turns, and there's 6 or 8 turns left. Plus we get the benefit of, if we put wealthy in, we would get the resources back right away. And that seems worth it. If we didn't do Suez Canal, what would we do? Maybe do selective breeding. Take cavalrymen. Patriotism. I don't know. Guess we could develop this, build one. Nope, can't do that. Then we run into this problem of resources, and we just don't have very many. There's another cavalryman though. Red or blue maybe takes this cavalryman actually. And yellow has knights, so it's less likely they would want it. But if we don't get it, it's a bit of an issue. We're holding cannon, so at least it appears we have a military option here. So if we took Suez Canal, I think we would do that. And then we have corruption. So we could just build a warrior. And then we might just lose the warrior, but that's basically free. And then we're a little stronger, and it looks like maybe, you know, I'm Joan and I got stronger, so don't play an event sort of thing. When it's really just pestilence. And then we can... And we can't even finish this next turn though, can we? We'll be at 7. If we can get someone to accept international trade agreement, then... Yeah, I don't know who's going to accept it. Oh, well, let's see. Blue wants food. We can give Blue some food. And take a resource. Maybe they would accept that. If we got a resource, we could do reserves, finish Suez Canal. But if cavalrymen's out here, then we can't do that. So, I mean, we might not finish this basically till the end of Age 2, potentially. Because we don't have many actions. That's a little tricky. I think I want to take it still, though. I think that is a good option here. But since I don't want to play an event here, I'd rather do international trade agreement. And I think Blue's the only one that will... I think I have a better chance of getting it with Blue. If we do this with Blue, we get a resource, they get a food. That would be really nice if we could make that happen. So let's try it. All right, and Blue accepts the pact. So we get an extra resource, they get an extra food. And then I think I'm going to take the Suez Canal and go that route. I think we can take Suez, increase pot, build this swordsman or warrior, and just lose that to pestilence and get into cavalrymen later. Let's give it a shot and see what we can do with it. So we have to get rid of 2 cards. I don't like my popularization of science position. I'm probably not going to get scientific method, which means Blue's in a pretty good spot to increase their science. Yellow has journalism, and I also don't really like my prosperity spot. I don't have a happiness answer yet. And, you know, Blue has opera and team sports. Yellow has drama and Shakespeare, possibly. So we'll keep refugees, the tactic, and the territories for now. So Blue reveals pestilence. So Blue did play an event. Takes cavalrymen, develops it, increases population, and copies medieval army, takes rich land, and selective breeding. So they are strongest, and territory is next, and Yellow does play an event, reveals inhabited territory. So we're going to lose something to frugality. This could be a time to transition to fortifications. If we bid 2 units 6, we probably would get it. I mean, and then when we do get Suez Canal in a couple of turns, it's an extra resource for the rest of the game too. So it could be worth it just to transition into this fortifications. And hopefully this event's on top and it is something we can pull off. And then what does our strength go up to? We would start off at 6, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the 6th? Oh, 6, cartography. We would get 3, 6, 11 more. Should be at 17. Blue can't get stronger very easily. I mean, Napoleon would do it. Napoleon becomes less good for us. But I think we can go ahead and bid these 2 and see if we can get it for 6, and then just transition into cannon. So let's see if we can get it. No, we don't. Blue bids 7. And Blue sends away a warrior, 3 cards. It's a pretty good deal. Yellow develops journalism with Gutenberg. Takes patriotism, develops riflemen, upgrades twice. Takes cannon. And that's their turn. And now it's our turn, and Iconoclasm is next. So actually we wouldn't have gotten Politics of Strength anyway, because yellow got stronger. But knowing that Iconoclasm is here, should we try to get a new leader? There's 4 of them right here. And none of them are great. If we could see Cole, Watt might be better. I'd probably rather have Napoleon or Max, really. Max would be pretty great. I mean, all the H2 governments are gone, so hoping that an H3 one comes early. Let's see, in this game, blue could make use of Watt here, and also probably wants Bach to get those operas out. Yellow probably wants Shakespeare, although Newton would probably be fine too. And we have to, so we're probably going to skip politics. So what do we want to get rid of? It kind of depends on what we're going to do. Get rid of the warrior. I think we're going to get rid of this food and start to get into selective breeding here. Now, let's see. If we wanted to do Newton, maybe we could get rid of the warrior. I don't really know. Let's build one. Take something. An engineering genius would be nice to take to have for Suez. Save 4 resources. We don't have corruption. We're not strongest. Okay, so that's something. Can kind of do something similar with selective breeding too. We can't really get Watt before selective breeding, but we can get selective breeding, then I guess you could do reserves. Newton. Selective breeding. Okay. Newton's not bad here for us. I mean, we get 1 extra science. I think we're not really close to getting 2 extra. The journalisms are gone, and we're not going to do... I don't think we're going to do scientific method. So he's not as good. Blue getting Bach would be pretty tough. I mean, blue could certainly use Napoleon and Max as well. I mean, none of us have good governments. But Max is a bit of a gamble. Napoleon, I mean, would be useful. There's not much gamble there. We're getting 3 culture, which isn't bad. Let's see, if we wanted to get Bach, we could do selective breeding. Upgrade, gets corruption. And then Bach. Elect them, we get 1 extra culture. And then Engineering Genius would give us 4 resources. But it leaves Shakespeare for yellow, because I don't think blue's going to take Shakespeare. So we can take Frugality instead, and then Shakespeare goes away. You know, you could try to get both of the cards by not upgrading, but then you have corruption, so you're only netting 1 resource from Engineering Genius anyway. And if we're gonna... yeah, if we're gonna upgrade, maybe we do this instead. I mean, we could even upgrade this, because we have an extra military action. It doesn't do us a lot of good, but it's only 1 resource, and it's a military action we're going to lose. And then we got rid of that agriculture, so maybe Frugality actually makes sense here. And this means that yellow will not get Shakespeare, blue will not get Bach. So they'll have to I mean, maybe yellow still takes Newton. That would still make sense for them, I think. Or they fight over Napoleon and Max. And I think we're in a pretty good position with military. Because we have 2 good tactics, depending on whether we can get cavalry or not. So I kind of like waiting on cannon, because if we can get cavalrymen, then the classic army's probably going to be better, especially with Colosseum. So I think this is pretty good. It gives us a little culture. It's completely possible we could get this opera even, also. If they fight over leaders, and yellow already has journalism and drama, do they really want to invest in opera with 4 civil actions to take it away from me? Probably not, which means we could probably get opera with Bach too. That'll work out good. Okay, so here's a problem though. We have to get rid of 4 cards. Like, those 2 are easy. Refugees is pretty easy. I probably want to keep both of those tactics, which means we have to choose our Suez Canal territory right now. And that's tricky because we need the resources. Granted, we are going to be getting 3 more resources, so we'll be at 7 once we finish the canal, which is pretty good. But we're also on bronze, so having the extra blues would be helpful. We sort of almost need the resources more than the science right now. But here we get half the number of blues and a couple of yellows, which are super helpful, and 5 science instead. The science might actually be more important because the Suez Canal will give us more resources, but we don't yet have a good way to get more science because we're on alchemy. We can't get another one. The science will help us get a government, which we're going to need. We have 2 resource cards in hand also, so probably developed is the way to go here. We don't have a ton of food, so the extra yellows will help with happiness and with getting pop out. So I think we can get rid of wealthy here. And go with this. So 7, 10. We still can't finish Suez Canal next turn either, unfortunately. So we're going to have 7 resources. Plus 3 is 10. Oops, sorry. Plus 3 is 10. And if we play 2 reserves, we can't get everything out there. It's going to be a little tricky. It's going to come out a little bit late. We could not upgrade that swordsman, and then we would have enough next turn if we spent everything. I think there is a chance here, though, that blue doesn't get stronger. It's pretty easy for them to get stronger, though. They have the population, they have the resources, they can just build 1 unit and be stronger. So we might just have to accept the fact that we're going to get hit with the politics of strength here. It's mostly fine. We have all the H2 cards we need, really. So we can go all the way back and not upgrade that soldier. And we'll have 8, 11. So we could finish it next turn if we wanted to, this way. But we're going to want to take opera, so we're not going to finish it anyway. So I think we're good with this. Vast territory. That's interesting too. Not autonomous though. And blue takes Watt then, instead of Bach, and elects him. And then discovers selected breeding, upgrades, and upgrades. So, I mean, Watt really works out just fine for blue also. He builds a swordsman to get stronger. Takes revolutionary idea. So overall, that did not turn out too badly for blue. Yellow increases population, builds a journalism, develops drama, takes Newton, elects him, and takes opera. Oh, that's too bad. So actually, we kind of get to decide if our leaders stick around or not. Sort of. So if we played an event now, then Iconoclasm would come out and we would keep our leaders. I think right now I have the least useful leader. I mean, blue's going to get 4 more resources from Watt, plus who knows what else. If oil or mechanized ag comes out, if he wanted to try to get into those, maybe he wouldn't. Yellow definitely is getting civil actions and he needs them, and 2 science, which is much more useful than the 2 culture I'm getting here. Unless an early movies comes out. I don't know if I want to bank on that. So if we wanted to have our leaders go away, we would have to not play a card and get rid of 4 cards. Which could be tricky because we don't have a lot of actions. Nothing else too very interesting happens when the age ends. So just looking at this turn, there's probably a few options. So we could develop agriculture and build, well, play reserves, I guess we have to first. Which we need to do anyway because age is ending, build 3 stages. So that's pretty good. We have architecture for later, saves us resources on something. One of the problems is that managing corruption with 3 extra tokens on bronze could get to be challenging. Why do I mention that? Oh, I think because in the architecture saves resources on buildings we're going to build. I'm just anticipating being frustrated that I can't pay more to get rid of corruption later on. And that's probably a silly worry to have, though, really. I mean, we're probably going to play that regardless. So then we could just build some stages to get out of corruption. And then take some cards, like reserves, but that does not end the age. So if we're going to do this, then we might want to play a card to put one in. And if we're going to play a card, economic progress is going to be really challenging for us, I think. There's just a lot of blue tokens. Since we're going to need to get cannon out eventually, we don't have a lot of civil actions. We could build a cannon. Now we're strongest. Now we could put in international negotiations. Then blue can put an event in. They're not weakest. It seems likely they would. And we would... Let's see, what else would we do here? We could take reserves or architecture or rifleman and coal. So rifleman and coal ends the age, but it doesn't. Ending the age is a lot less important. Well, I guess it's still nice because we would politics of strength would come out, so we would get 5 H3 cards right out of the gate, assuming he plays an event. Which he might because he's not weakest, so that could make sense for him to do. And getting 5 H3 cards right away is pretty nice. There's 2 tactics we could take advantage of with the rifleman and the cannon. So we would get a good, better chances at drawing those. There's a cavalryman coming out too, so we would know if we need to take the cavalryman or not. If movies do come out, it helps get into them. We're not any closer on Suez Canal, unfortunately. So, sort of like we want to use our civil actions smartly. Getting into cannons one way because we need to do that eventually to get stronger. The other is to put a couple into Suez Canal. And then we just have to decide whether to end the age or not. That's the best way to end the age. We're not strongest, so we wouldn't put an event in. Politics of Strength comes out next turn. And I mean, it is possible that blue wouldn't play an event and then yellow might not either. I suspect yellow would. And then we could get stronger and play the event again. And maybe still get Politics of Strength. I guess the downside of doing it this way is that we will miss our first draw of H3 cards if Politics of Strength does happen to come out. So given that, maybe this makes sense. And we'll put international negotiations in. And then our leaders just stick around. We have a bit of a small window to win Politics of Strength here. I think there's just a good chance if we play an event, we're strongest, then blue would play one. After that, I think blue will want to build a cavalryman here and get stronger. So they would, go up to 20, and then it's going to be hard for us to build another cannon while we're finishing Suez Canal, I think. We don't really want to chase that. So if we can get Politics of Strength out of the way, those 5 cards right at the beginning of H3 could really be helpful, just in choosing the direction we take through the age. And if we stay at 13 and we go with the Suez Canal plan like this, blue could play an event. I mean, I think it's 50-50 whether they play an event here. And then if blue plays one, then I think it's pretty likely yellow would play one because they're not weakest. And then we get no cards. And that's tough going into H3 with no cards. If we do the other plan and get the cannon, then one side benefit, we can draw cards. We can take cards our hand's not full. But in this case, blue 50-50 plays Iconoclasm. But then likely gets stronger. I mean, it's an action. You build a cavalryman. You have only 3 resources left, so you can't upgrade things. But maybe you play Iconoclasm because you can't upgrade things, and then you build the cavalryman to get stronger. So I think we can just try to take control of this situation a little bit and put the event in and try to get Politics of Strength for ourselves. It doesn't mean that yellow is going to keep their leader, but maybe that will work out to our benefit too. So it's hard to tell. So we'll put this in. And we all keep our leaders, which is exciting. Play cannon. I'll take those 2 cards. So the age ends. And hopefully blue plays an event. And we can get some cards. So we'll end the turn. We can get rid of economic progress because I want to keep those territories for now. And I think we can get rid of Classic Army, actually. Classic Army is a lot easier for them to copy, so I don't really want to put it out. And we already got one cannon in, so hopefully we'll draw a cannon infantry tactic we can use. Not ifs here, but hopefully this goes well. Let's see what we draw. Oh, we got one. Look at that. I didn't get audio for this turn, so I'm going to talk us through it. But blue does play Politics of Strength, which is great for us. So the plan worked. We did get, or we will get 5 H3 cards right out of the gate. Then they build a Cavalryman, take Architecture, built a Selective Breeding. Yellow develops Constitutional Monarchy. Increases population, builds a Drama, takes Reserves, takes Urban Growth, and Efficient Upgrade. Alright, so now it's our turn. We are not weakest, so we could consider an event. We did just draw 2 impacts. We know international negotiations in. That's the only event. So getting that now would not be ideal because we're not strongest. Impact of competition and variety don't look too good yet. It's a little early for impact of competition probably. But variety is probably okay to play this early. Yeah, so I think we can play one of those impacts here. Crime Wave's probably a little iffy, and putting a territory in is not what we want to do right now. So international negotiations is revealed. And what do we want to give to blue from yellow? Yellow has a little food, not a lot of resources, a good bit of science. So they would probably miss the food or resources the most. Blue has a good amount of food, good resources. And I actually didn't see what their science was, but what do we choose here? I don't even know what we chose. Maybe we'll have a chance to go back and look at what it was. Now for our turn, we probably need to get that Suez Canal going here. No movies came out yet. We probably don't need that cavalrymen anymore. We've talked about it a while, but we drew defensive army and have a rifleman, so we don't really need that cavalrymen anymore. We also got rid of classic army, so it's a lot less important at this point. The architecture is still good. It will help us finish Suez more quickly. Revolutionary ideas, a good pick here. We don't have a lot of science. Computers would be good, but it's maybe tough to get into right now. Yeah, is there anything else to think about? I mean, an early computers is really strong, but we're going to go with the Suez Canal option here. Do we want to play a tactic? Let's think about it. We go up to 20 strength, so we would not be strongest on blue's turn, but we would be stronger than yellow. So it's worth considering here, and it's not really easy for them to get into that, I don't believe. So we can go ahead and put it out. Discard fortifications, because now we're on defensive army. Get rid of the aggression, get rid of crime wave. And then what else do we get rid of? Keeping a war is probably a good idea. We need those. We're keeping both of those territories for Suez because we don't want to decide quite yet which one to go with. So get rid of the impact and the war. I guess we're keeping the defense card so we can defend or maybe bid on another territory, which is good for Suez. And we go with that. I guess it's sad to let go of a war this early, but we do it. Ooh, blue reveals Cold War. And we're one of the strongest, so that's great. They've developed team sports, take democracy and develop it, which is really nice. Builds a team sports, takes computers and efficient upgrade. Did not take the air forces, which is an interesting decision, I think. Yellow develops cannon, increases pop, takes space flight, patriotism, builds a cannon, takes air forces and reserves. So yellow is getting set up to get into our tactic. Next turn. So there's one more air forces. And there's no Manhattan Project. So I think we need to be a little cautious at this point. I mean, we're not behind in culture in any way. No one is making a big move on culture, so I think we have to be a little cautious militarily. And nothing has popped up to make it obvious that we should, make it obvious which territory we should do. So I think we need developed. I think the science is going to be helpful. I think the blue tokens are going to be helpful because we're on bronze still. I think losing a blue with vast is actually going to be pretty hard. And then I like this military theory because it makes us stronger and we get some military actions and it helps with impact of variety. And then what do we do now? I think there's a case to be made for movies here. If we get movies and urban growth, that would be great, but we don't have enough actions. I mean, you could not do military theory and get into movies, or get a movies and an urban growth together. That doesn't feel right here. It's going to be hard for us to get into movies substantially. With the resources we have, there isn't other movies that we could try to get. Movies are not great with Marlena. It's going to be hard to get a bunch of them here. So I don't think I like that choice particularly. The other computers isn't out yet, but Einstein or Meyer would be good. Pierre, if we can get a professional sports. Blue already has the team sports going. So I think I like this military theory option here. And then, I think it's revolutionary idea and take military buildup. Just to be, on the cautious side at this point. We have a long way to go in the age. And I think we can, I don't know. Do we play an event here? So what would be, if it was international agreement or independence declaration? But we're not weakest. So it's really only international agreement that matters right now. And I think we can put vast territory in. We have a colonization card and a bonus, and we don't want to put impact of strength in yet because we don't know. And the 2 culture from vast could be helpful. So I think we can go ahead and put that in, and then I guess let's just hope it's not international agreement. Let's see. Okay, that could be bad too. It's not that big of a deal, I guess. We're going to get rid of Colosseum, but it just makes military theory even more important here. And it's going to make riflemen more expensive later, also, if we get into it. I think we probably need Himeji Castle in the culture at this point. Let's see. So yeah, Colossus is going to go away. Stonehenge. They can get happy faces. Okay, I guess that's going to be a little tricky for yellow. Oh, we lose the happy face as well. That's no fun. Yeah, that's no fun, huh? So what are we gonna do about that? So we finish this. Oh, yes, problem solved. Okay. Well, knowing that is like a semi-reason to go into vast. Would have been prolonging this happiness problem, but at least we don't have to deal with it immediately. So we can get military theory. Play revolutionary idea, take military build-up. I think that's still the chain of events here. I guess you could make a stronger case for movies because we need happy faces, but both professional sports are in. and in other movies is in. I think this military build-up is going to be important to get here. So let's see what we get. Blue reveals arms industry. We get a couple of resources for that. Increases population, builds a team sports, takes engineering genius in modern infantry, develops computers, upgrades, and that's a turn. They have 10 food. Yellow plays reserves, takes professional sports, develops it, disbands a knight, builds a professional sports, takes revolutionary idea, and copies my defensive army. And that's our turn. So what does our turn look like? So we can't put impact of culture in, and I think it's too early for impact of strength still. We have vast territory coming soon. So if we don't play an event here, then vast would likely come out on yellow's turn, or ours if yellow doesn't play an event. So it'd be really great to grab this democracy and finally get a government. Blue is set up pretty well for Einstein, Meyer, and Pierre. But Pierre is sitting right there. If he gets Pierre, he's going to start getting 4 more culture a turn. He can easily build 2 more team sports. Get 8 more culture for 3 turns. 24 plus Olympics, 30 culture. That's a lot. The problem is Pierre doesn't do too much for me. I mean, I can keep Bach around till the last turn, then elect Pierre, and then do Olympics, and that's probably fine. And if I take Pierre here, then blue, I would really just be hoping that Einstein or Meyer don't show up on the next turn. And maybe blue takes Marlena, and gets into that opera. That would be a tough choice for them if one of those other 2 leaders doesn't show up. Is there any reason on this turn to not put a little pressure on blue with an aggression? I mean, it stops me from having the aggression later if I need it. That's one thing. And maybe we get to a point where we're stronger later and we want to be able to use it. We won't have to discard anything, but I guess my thought is if he has a defense card, it gets it out of his hand, which makes it easier for us to get the vast territory. And if he doesn't have one, then he has to make some decisions about what cards to get rid of. I guess one problem we have here with this turn is we have a corruption problem. So it's only 2 corruption, but with 7 resource production on bronze, we need 7 blue tokens. Plus we need 2 for the food. We only have 6 tokens available. So the first thing that happens, we're going to put 2 tokens back for corruption. 2 of them will go to the food, so we'll get 6 tokens on bronze. So we'll have 14, essentially. So we're only going to get 4, is the bottom line. In this situation, we're only going to get 4 resources. So maybe we take urban growth. It's a nice way to hold resources in our hand, but not use blue tokens for it. So we're going to have a 3 resource corruption on this turn. essentially. But we'll get 4 from the urban growth, and then hopefully we'll be in a position to spend some resources next turn, ideally on a professional sports if it shows up. And that doesn't really impact if we do the aggression or not, though. So we just have to make that decision. I think I will do the aggression just to try to draw a card out. I'm not sure which aggression is the better one to do here. There are more armed interventions left, potentially, and there's no plunders left. That's one option. I have the military actions to spare this turn. In the future, maybe I won't. I'm not building units this turn. Maybe in the future I'll want to plunder and build units. Not that he would let me, but I kind of actually don't even want to win the plunder at this point. It would actually kind of put me in a pinch again because of the corruption issue. I'll just put armed intervention against blue. And we're not going to sacrifice any units this time around. Maybe next time. Blue defends, but spent 4 cards, H2 and 3 H3 cards. So they did not get rid of a defense card, probably holding on to them, I would imagine, get rid of something they didn't like. They know what's going on. They see this H2 event here. They're not dumb. And so then I think we do the turn we talked about. Which... Oh yeah, we got this far, and then I think we're looking at stuff. One of the big problems is corruption. And we're holding impact of strength. We don't know where impact of competition is, but I think something we can do is that. This gets us a little more science, which is important right now. We're a little low on science. It also gets us out of corruption, which is important. If we do actually win vast territory, then we will get some food in this situation. The other situation we wouldn't have, because we're taking 9 tokens off of here. We're gonna have 2 left, so we would only really get 2 food. Anyway, which is pretty crazy how many tokens we're going to use up. But I think this makes sense. And then hopefully next turn this also gives us enough science for professional sports if it comes out, which would be nice, or computers if it comes out, and possibly get a movies, although we can't. Oh, we would actually be able to research it because we have him. Right? Yeah. So that's actually kind of nice. So I think we'll do that this turn instead of taking a card. I think we were thinking about taking urban growth or something and holding the resources, but this lets us avoid corruption, get some more science. It doesn't really impact us too much. Only impact of competition, I think. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's end the turn. And what we want is these 4 cards to not be Sid Meier or Einstein. Can you do that for us? And also not professional sports. That's all I ask. Not professional sports. Maybe not movies either. Not movies, not professional sports, not Sid Meier, not Albert Einstein. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for me? I think you can. I think you can do it for me. You did it. Thank you. Appreciate that. So blue, sorry, takes Marlena and Elixir. Develops Opera, Increased Pop builds one, takes Empire State Building. We'll have to check how that looks in just a second. Yellow takes Civil Service, develops it, takes Military Theory, plays Revolutionary Idea, takes Engineering, and Reserves and Urban Growth. That's a lot of blue text. Do you think he might have Impact of Progress? We're actually set up pretty well for that right now. Kind of all are. So blue, we're tied on culture. He's ahead on science, tied on resources. He's ahead on food. We're ahead on strength. So he has 2 right now. So he would get 16. Yeah. But build an opera, upgrade this coal, and now you get 32, which is quite a lot. Yellow might get more science or something. All right, what do we want to do on this turn? So I see International Red Cross, and that's super tempting. They would each get a stage. So we would end up with essentially 12 plus 5, 17 or so for that. We're also taking it away from blue and yellow. We could do another aggression against blue, but it seems a little futile. We could do an aggression and sacrifice a unit to get the culture, and I mean, we have a corruption issue. So if we sacrificed a unit, then we could increase pop and build something. This is the question of whether blue would actually take Red Cross, because they would have to use all the resources to finish this and then take this wonder and use all their food on it. Which is a bit of a stretch, as opposed to them using resources to improve their Empire State Building and then finishing it. And professional sports did not come out, so we're not able to get into that. So I'm tempted. So if we take fast food chains, that does get us out of corruption, just barely. And then maybe we hope professional sports comes out, we can get into that to fix happiness, then build some units, enough to maybe get a small war off. It seems pretty unlikely, honestly. But maybe if we did this, then it puts blue off of Red Cross at least. And we get the same amount of culture for this as Red Cross. And then we can use these units to build professional sports. And if we do this, we'll have 7 resources, plus maybe this sticks around. So we'll have 10. So that would be 2 professional sports that we could build, assuming we get it. And that's pretty good. The other, let's see, it was take this. We don't even really need to build the stages this turn, because they're each going to get 1 and we're going to get 3 whether we do it now or next turn. And so we could take these 2. I mean, the biggest problem here is that we'll only get 3 more resources. So instead of 7, we'll have 15. And then hopefully this reserves, so 18. So theoretically, we could build 3 professional sports if we can get 3 population. Definitely this one, maybe 2 of these, or 1 of these maybe. These 2. So that would be pretty good. We could actually stop his culture. Like, we would have more culture at that point, less science. And I kind of like that. And so if using that for strength and we don't plan on a war, then we could take air forces. And then we could actually attack blue and sacrifice the swordsman. Then we could rebuild this swordsman and get 5 resources instead of 3. So this swordsman really just cost us civil action and 1 resource. And the only thing we do with that civil action otherwise is take this patriotism, which is useful, but this might be worth more. We get more cards out of their hand, so we win vast more likely, assuming we even want it, but we probably do. And we get 3 culture, and that could be worth it. Yeah, I think I like that plan. Let's try it. I mean, we can't put impact of culture in. We just don't know if we're going to actually get professional sports. It could very easily be taken away by blue. Impact of strength we can put in later, next turn. We just don't know yet. And we can get 3 culture and a card out of blue's hands by doing the plunder. So let's go ahead and try that. So it's against blue. They have more culture, and they're in the lead, I think. So we want to put them off the territory. And we're going to sacrifice a swordsman. And let's see what happens. And okay, so we actually were able to draw out a defense card. So that is good. I think that is what we wanted to get from that. Now we will go with the plan, which is to take that and not develop it. Take air forces, increase population, and build a swordsman. So let's see. And then we want professional sports to not show up here. And I don't think we're going to get into that tactic or this one, honestly. So I think we can get rid of that and see what cards come out. No, it did come out. And blue offers yellow a pact, peace treaty, and yellow does not accept it. It's interesting. Blue does build a stage of my Red Cross, takes rockets and reserves and patriotism, develops modern infantry, and upgrades twice. So I was a little bit afraid of military, that's good. And then yellow also builds a stage. And there's a blue token thing, we'll have to read that. Plays reserves, takes Einstein, elects him, develops engineering, plays reserves for food, increases population, and builds a library. And disbands a knight to build a cannon, plays positional army. So yellow is now strongest. All right, it is our turn. Oh yeah, what was that? Oh yeah, so I guess International Red Cross uses our blue tokens, and we ran out when he built the stage, so we had to throw 1 food away to free up a token to put on Red Cross. Luckily, we still have 9. This is a little scary. So whatever we do in this turn, let's take a look at the turn. Whatever we do, we're going to finish this. And you can, I guess it's between professional sports and fast food chains. And we're going to have probably 21, maybe 24 resources. So we can build 4 professional sports. We do 2 this turn. That's 4 culture and 2 more next turns, 8, 12 culture potentially versus 15 for fast food chains. Plus, this helps us with impact of culture and strength, and we'll have to see how those work in just a sec. But we're definitely going to get Pierre. We have to decide what to destroy, but I don't know, something like this. It's now 12 culture. So how does that look? Yellow, I mean, next turn's the last turn. Yellow has 16 resources exactly, so I assume they're just going to finish spaceflight, and that's basically their turn. Discover military theory for 3 culture, 3 military actions, finish spaceflight, and that's their turn. So they're not getting any stronger, they're not producing any more culture, they're not fixing anything else. Blue will have 11 plus 4 plus 5, 19. Depending on if you do military, but 19 civil resources, I guess. And this takes 7 or 20 civil, so they'll have 17 here, so they have 3 to spend. So the only way they can increase culture is to build a temple. And they only get to 11. So they won't get above 12. So I think we're safe on impact of culture. Strength is a little more interesting. I think, let's see. So blue has 8 for Empire State right now. And if you count patriotism, they have 24 resources to spend. They need to get 4 stronger. So if they build this cavalryman, they'll get 3 stronger. And that costs 5. So they have 19 resources left. But then Marlena actually will double the tactic. So they'll actually get 5 for this, which is 32, which is enough to be strongest. And then all they need is 1 bronze. So they will actually have exactly enough. So they'll be at 19 minus 2 is 17. So they'll finish this. If they wanted to get better on culture, they'd have to spend, well, 8 here because architecture is going to go away. 8. So then they have 12 and then they can't finish. So it seems likely they'll get stronger. They'll get to 32, but not build any more culture, would be my guess if I was a betting person. So then they're at 32, they're at 28. Culture doesn't change. So then it gets to our turn. We'll have 11 resources. And basically, we're going to lose these 3 cards. We basically just build 2 professional sports. I guess we could play military build-up also, but we won't need to. We build 2 of these. We get 8 more strength. So we're at 39. So we're ahead of everyone. And we have more culture production. So that means we'll be ahead on both of these. So then the big question is, do we play one of these? Probably culture, because we're going to fall behind on strength and the event could come out, but we'll stay ahead on culture. Do we play one of them? And it all depends on what this event is. Because if we go back to the beginning of the turn, we only have 1 happy face versus 8 at the end of the turn. So that is a difference of 14 culture on impact of happiness. And that's a lot. The other ones, I mean, what else are we fixing here? We're getting 6 for competition. We're getting 6 for architecture. We're getting 2 for variety. And I think that's about it. So the big risk here is we put impact of culture in and impact of happiness comes out. Impact of culture will give us 7 over blue, because blue's going to get 2nd place, plus the 3 for playing it. So we get 10 culture for impact of culture, but we'll lose 14 for impact of happiness. If this is anything but impact of happiness, then it's a net win for playing it. And I think worst case in this situation, it comes down to within 5 culture between us and blue. So that 4 could make a big difference. You know, if it's not worst case, then it'll be a lot closer. But if it is worst case, then, you know, the 7 for the extra, I guess 10 we get for impact of culture could make a big difference. Or the 4 we lose could make a big difference. You know, and if architecture comes out or competition comes out, then this is just a net gain of 4. So, question, do we want to take that risk? And I think it's worth the risk here. I mean, that event's been sitting on top. Blue just let me have professional sports. You'd think they'd play an event. I mean, it's very possible blue just doesn't have one or doesn't have one they want to play. But I think it's worth it. I mean, happiness is an event you often play ahead of time. That event was played a long time ago, before blue had Marlena, but they did have team sports, so it's reasonable to think they thought they'd be good on happiness, but I think it's worth the risk. Hopefully no one does something I'm not expecting and gets more culture. I just really don't think they're going to, though. So let's go ahead and try impact of culture and cross our fingers. Oh, it is happiness. Oh. That's super unfortunate. Okay, well that cost us 4 culture. But what are you gonna do? Okay, so next turn we'll build 2 of these. And it's gonna be pretty close, I think. I think some good news is that it's pretty likely we'll win this vast territory. Yellow doesn't have any spare resources, really, and they'll lose the tactic if they bid. Blue doesn't have the strength to spare, I don't think. They don't have the resources to spare to bid something and then rebuild it. So, I mean, maybe Blue has another tactic or something. If they had shock troops, that might work as well. But actually, I think we're holding shock troops, right? Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that impact of happiness, definitely disappointing. It's gonna be really close finish. Okay, I think we can end the turn now and see what maybe we'll draw something good. So yeah, we're not switching tactics here. We're not going to be developing any. I mean, I guess in theory we could develop tanks. Or, yeah, right? We could in theory, but I don't think we're going to. So, I mean, I don't know. We're definitely not going to play this impact though. So we can get rid of that. And blue does play an event. Reveals vast territory, and I think we can probably bid this much because we have, let's see, we get 4 food, 4 tokens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they'd be 3 each. We'd have 6 food. We can go 1, 2. Then we rebuild the cannon, or I guess we'd go 3, rebuild the cannon. 4, 5, and then we're out of food and resources. Maybe take one of these 2, 6, research it, 7, if we have that option. Yellow might take everything though. And yeah, so military buildup will let us rebuild this cannon, and then we can get stronger. And we can defend 6, just barely, right? Put these 2 cards in, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. So we can defend with 6 of them and then play our impact still. So we should be good there. And we won it for 10, so blue bid 9. That's, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that blue bid 9 for it, because if they spend anything here, then they can't win 2 things. But what I realized after I bid, which I think is really interesting, is that once I colonize this, my production's going to go... Oh, no, it's not. Well, I mean, it is, but... So we can just do that. So we bid the 2 cards in the swordsman. We're going to be at 23, so we can definitely defend 5. And... So our production did go up 1. But I was thinking we would go actually above blue and prevent them from getting the resource one. But all we do is tie them again. So it does actually make them need to do something here. I guess it is true if blue had won, then they would be ahead on resources. And then they could just do one other thing. But because we won, we're now tied on resources and they have to invest in resources. So my assumption here is they're going to build a cavalryman, build a bronze, finish this, and research something. Blue plays reserves and something, increased pot maybe? Plays patriotism. Builds a bronze, increases population, builds the cavalrymen, and finishes empire state building, takes satellites. So that's pretty good. It was just about exactly what we thought he'd do. And then yellow. Oh, interesting. Does an aggression. Okay. Oh, I mean, we can defend this. We looked at it. We are not in a position to do either aggression. We're not doing a war. I mean, we're not doing any of these, so it doesn't make any difference. Yeah, so that looks good. Yellow develops military theory, finishes spaceflight, takes multimedia, takes tanks, takes mechanized agriculture. So I will not have anything left to develop. So that's 4 culture for impact of tech that I won't get. Also potentially 2 for variety because I could have built the tanks, but I can't do that now. So we're going to put impact of strength in, and then with this verify we can get stronger, I'm pretty sure. Build one of those. We can destroy one of these and still keep 3 for variety. Build 1. Oh, well, I didn't play military build it. I need to do that. 1, 2, yeah, we're strong. So we can do that. Let's see. So we're getting 2 for balance. Yeah, we're not going to get that, make that any better. Yep, so let's put strength in, and I guess we hope it's not architecture and not competition. Other than that, it should be fine at this point. Yeah, that's great, actually. So that eliminates 1 event from the worst case situation here. And I think in this situation, if it is worst case, then I think blue has a chance to win worst case. Anything that's not worst case, it's going to be close. So that's great. The impact of agriculture came out there. So now let's get stronger. All right, and that's a turn. Nothing else we can do. We can take cards, I suppose. I think this is it. And we'll see how the impacts go. I'm a little nervous. So we finish at 151. So we start out ahead by 1 point. Impact of culture comes out. So we get 7 more ahead. Impact of variety, so we'll get 2 more ahead. Balance, it is in there, so he gets 8 on us. And strength is ours. We win that, so all down to this last impact. 9 points. Technology, it's only 4. So we did it. Pulled it out, got the win. How exciting. Yeah, wow, this was a really interesting match, I thought. We actually had that turn where we took Bach away and made Shakespeare fall off. And that was probably pretty important because blue would have gotten Bach, yellow would have gotten Shakespeare. They both would have run away on culture. And by getting Bach, we got 2 culture from, but we never used them beyond the 2 culture we got from just him normally and taking him away. And then we actually had to take Pierre away also because blue had those team sports and Pierre was there, and we took Pierre away. I'm going to pause there for just a second. I was putting the video together and I realized that I also took Joan away from blue because blue had Theocracy and Colossus and I didn't want blue to get Joan. And then later on we took Bach away because we didn't want blue to get Bach. And then at the end we took Pierre away because we didn't want blue to get Pierre. So every one of our leaders was to take it away from blue, essentially, because all of your leader belong to me, I guess. Okay, unpause. Yeah, what else happened this game? So we had no age A leader, and that's a little interesting. We got cartography, we were able to get some territories and Suez Canal. We had to pay quite a bit for it, if I remember correctly. But it was really interesting. Suez Canal with bronze was just the corruption. Managing corruption was really kind of tough. Like that's a lot of blue tokens to get. My blue bank was almost empty a couple of times. But I think taking developed over vast was the right move there. those extra blue, having like 3 blue tokens more. I think it was important here. There were probably a couple of times where we would not have gotten all of our resources otherwise. And then we did those aggressions against blue, and I think that paid off because it made blue not able to bid as much for the vast. If they had that 1 extra colonization card, then blue could have bid more, and I don't think we could have gone up that high. So we could only go 1 higher. So I think that worked, and if they had 1 vast, they had 1 more resource production, they could have put the resources into something else instead of the bronze. Maybe, I'm not really sure exactly, because they then would have gone down on military, so it would have been close. But either way, it worked out. It worked out well. We got an extra population. We were able to win the territory. So yeah, that was the game. Overall, I thought really interesting game. And finally, these are the standings after all 6 games completed. We are in first place with 22 points. 4 first place finishes, 1 second and 1 third. Decuster 2 and Blix LT are in second and third place with 14 and 12 points. Ricicle and Leary and Klaus are in 4th and 5th place with 11 points each. Well, this was a great Intermezzo Championship for me. I had a lot of fun playing the games and then putting these videos together and watching them along with you. It was great. I hope you enjoyed watching them. I look forward to catching you in the next tournament video or in a stream here on the channel. Thank you again, and we'll see you then.